First, let me talk about the subject of bossy, because how many of you can relate to this? You're worried about being bossy, or you have been perceived, or you have been given feedback that you are bossy. First of all, let's talk about the research around bossy. So I think most of you have probably heard about the book Lean In. Sheryl Sandberg, COO of Facebook, has started this project called Ban Bossy. And they've done a ton of research about this particular label that women in particular are given in the workplace. And here's what the research says about it. Women are twice as likely as men to receive feedback that they are bossy. And when they research the behavior, the underlying behavior that leads to that kind of label, there's no difference between the behavior in men and women. In other words, women are no more bossy than the men that are considered bossy, but women are twice as likely to be called bossy. And here's the reason why this is really important thing to get ahead of. Research shows that for both men and women, if you are considered bossy, it can be a factor in whether or not you're promoted. Somebody who is considered bossy, that is considered negative when it comes to being promoted. So we want to get ahead of this. And here's the thing that I want you to really unpack for yourself. It is very difficult to change behavior unless you know what behavior you need to change. And what I hate about the word bossy is that bossy is a label. This is what we call descriptive bias. Descriptive bias is a label that you attach to certain genders, races, backgrounds that people come from, cultures. And bossy is a descriptive bias that is also often given to women. And what I want you to do is I want you to do the work to unpack what are the actual behaviors that people are talking about. And this is going to require you to do something that might feel uncomfortable. And that is go back to the people that gave you the feedback and make them do the harder work that's going to help you pivot behavior so you can be more influential, okay? I'm not saying that the label is fair. I'm not saying that you are bossy. But as somebody who has been given that same feedback, what I know is that there are behaviors that I was engaging in that made other people give me that descriptive bias, okay? So let me give you some of the behaviors I used to engage in and some of the behaviors that tend to lead toward that label. Number one, controlling. Are you too controlling over the process? Sometimes when you're a leader and you're super controlling and you're micromanaging about details, that can come across in feedback as bossy. Second thing, are you ignoring other people's input? So if you're somebody who is super passionate, which is a really good thing, but if you're so passionate that you don't listen to anybody else, that's not a good thing. And oftentimes when people give feedback that you're bossy, what they're actually saying is, it's your way to the highway. You never listen to anybody. You're not collaborative. You're so controlling and micromanaging that you are bossy. And so that's what they're actually talking about, ignoring other people. The other piece of this is, are you short with people? Meaning, are you always in a rush? Are you running behind? I'm not suggesting you're any of these things, by the way. These were a lot of things that I was, but this is why it's critical for you to understand what are the behaviors you're engaging in, what is the impact that it's having. And here's another piece of advice I'm going to give you that will really help you get in front of this, and everybody should write this down. Ask for feedback in the SKS method, and this is what it means. When you go back to whoever gave you the feedback that you're bossy, and you ask them to break this out into specific behaviors, you're going to ask them, what do I need to stop doing? What should I keep doing? And what do I need to start doing? For me, I got feedback that I needed to listen more and talk less. I bet that doesn't surprise you. I also got feedback that I needed to delegate earlier in the process because I was holding on to things too long. And then when I finally gave them to other people, I became micromanaging. So being less controlling, delegating more, talking less, listening more, those were all things that behaviors and behavior changes that I could do that helped me manage that perception. It helped me elevate my influence, and it certainly got rid of that piece of feedback, which will help you in terms of the factors that are often considered when it comes time for you to be promoted.